Let's bring in now Independent Senator Jacqui Lambie. Senator Lambie, appreciate your time as always. I want to get your reaction first of all to Peter Dutton really muscling up and strengthening his language in terms of Donald Trump ahead of what Trump's calling Liberation Day on tariffs, and then hear from the Prime Minister's response to it, and we'll get your comments in a moment. Have a look.
Ultimately, what people want is a Prime Minister who can stand up for our country. And what they've seen in Anthony Albanese is somebody who doesn't have the strength or the backbone or the will to stand up for our country's interests. He can't stand up to China at the moment.
So you'd have a fight with Donald Trump?
If I needed to have a fight with Donald Trump or any other world leader to advance our nation's interests, I'd do it in a heartbeat. And I'll put the Americans on notice and anyone else who seeks to act against our national interest.
Even if it risks AUKUS?
It won't risk AUKUS. AUKUS will survive. There's no doubt in my mind. But I'm not going to allow the President of the United States or the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom or anyone else to walk over me or to walk over our country. But at the moment, they see a Prime Minister who is weak and flapping in the breeze, and that's why Donald Trump has been able to stand all over Anthony Albanese now. I won't stand for that.
He says different things every day, doesn't he? The last time round, he was praising President Trump rather than standing up for Australia. Peter Dutton will always dial things up to 11. He thinks this is a contest of who can say the most aggro things. It's not. That's not the way diplomacy works.
Senator Lambie, what are your thoughts on where this discussion is at? A pretty key moment right now as we await to see what the White House does.
I have to be honest with you, with me running around Australia and Tasmania, what they're saying is we've got no leaders and they're weak, and the ones we've got, they're weak gutted. That's what they're saying to me. And why Peter Dutton says I'm going to do something, he actually hasn't said what he's going to do. First of all, I've already put out a 3-planned attack there, and I'll give you another one. That's our critical minerals. You can go and tell US United States of America where they can stick their critical minerals. And then we'll go back to Pine Gap. Okay, and then we'll go back to the northwest antenna that we own, that's over there in the Pacific, over there near the Pacific Islands, and shut them off. And the other big thing that certainly we have up there is the marine rotation. Just tell them there'll be no more marine rotation after this one. They are sitting there. This is the perfect opportunity for any leader, whether an opposition leader or not in this country, to come up through the guts and come up through the middle, because this is what Australians are looking for. They want the fight back. They want to not look like lame ducks sitting down here, and neither of those leaders that I can see or anybody else that I've come in contact with in the last week has said that they've got any guts to take the United States of America on, let alone Donald Trump. That's where we're at. We are laying down and they are walking all over the top of us, and it is shameful. Now start taking some action, and one can start with that critical minerals, because I'll tell you what, every man, his dog wants those critical minerals. Take them off the list, they don't get a pick.
Are you concerned, though, is there a risk there if you do that and you go that full throttle approach that you undermine the military alliance, AUKUS, and all that comes with it?
No, that's rubbish. By the way, Australians, we've already paid nearly $1 billion to the United States of America so that they can have their own shipyard, their own industry. That's what it's paying for, not for our submarines. They're getting ready to build them. We're paying them $1 billion to get their shipyards ready. That's what we're doing. So I can tell you, you can stop that contract now and we won't lose any more money, which is all we're doing. Stop it now and tell them they can stick the contract where it fits, because there is no guarantee they are going to be delivered. They're sure as hell not going to be delivered on time, and they've become a mess from both those leaders, through the Liberal Party when they were in for 9 years, and now the Labor Party that floated through with their ridiculous idea, and now this is where you put us. People want to see right now in Australia, they want to see leaders who have got guts, who have got a backbone, who have got spine, and right now we're not seeing it from either one of them. Right now, tomorrow, got their critical minerals tomorrow. Which one of them has got the guts to say you are not on the list to receive our critical minerals? Let's go.
What do voters in Tasmania tell you about? What do voters in Tasmania tell you about their view of the US president?
Tasmania is the worst, because I can tell you when it comes to Tasmania, we're very protective, and them walking all over us, we're still 20 years behind. We have all our old values in place still here in Tasmania.
What do they think of Donald Trump?
They are fuming. They are fuming with Donald Trump coming over like a standover man in a David and Goliath battle. And I'll tell you what they're standing right with David, right with me. So what they want to see is some warning out there to the US and say, we will do this tomorrow. That's what they want to see.
On to the Sky News debate. Our People's Forum will be held on Tuesday of next week. I know it's going to be in Western Sydney. It is a room full of undecided voters, but you talk to voters every day of the week. I know you're in northern Tassie, but you get a sense, the pulse of the community. What sort of issues will be raised with Mr Dutton and Mr Albanese on Tuesday, do you think, in that People's Forum? What's at the top of the list? Obviously, cost of living is number one.
Yeah, cost of living, they're doing it hard. So it's the energy, putting a roof over people's heads. You know, what are we doing for our kids out there? What are we doing for those kids between 18 and 28 that got stuck during COVID that seem to have not been able to pick up their normal lives beforehand? What are we doing about this? You know, most of it's the cost of living, mate. The fuel thing that's going to last for 6 months, not even. I mean, since they got an announcement, I've had not one Tasmanian, I'm out on the ground everywhere, come up to me and say, oh, great, that's a fuel subsidy. For 6 months. Because they say, what happens after the next 6 months? You know, so it is a real problem for me. I'm sorry, but I run on the smell of an oily rag. Jacqui Lambie will be out there still till 10 o'clock with a spotlight, torch in her hand, putting up signs. That's what I'll be doing for the next 2.5 weeks.
Senator Jacqui Lambie, we will see you in Tassie over the next couple of weeks during the campaign. Appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Thanks so much for having me on.